My ex-fiancée and my old culinary school best friend framed me, stole my parents' money, and opened a bakery. My parents backed them, said they chose success. So I bought their foreclosed condo. They still don't know it's mine. You ever have a moment where everything just breaks? That was me, standing in the walk-in fridge, holding a half-empty truffle oil bottle like it was a smoking gun. My name is Zachary Lane. I'm 32. I live in Chicago, or at least I did. Up until 10 hours ago, I was the sous chef at Ember, this sleek little place downtown that booked out months in advance and had a ride-up in Bon Appetit. I lived for it. The noise, the fire, the pressure. I'd finally found my place, until someone decided to pull the rug. We've been doing inventory, Zach. There are some discrepancies. That's what Chef Riley said, not even looking me in the eye. Several high-end items have gone missing. I laughed. I actually laughed. I thought it was a joke. Then he handed me a folder. Inside? Photos. Screenshots. Time-stamped records showing me being the last person to handle certain ingredients that never made it into a dish. I felt my face flush. You think I stole from this kitchen? He didn't answer. That was my answer. I was fired on the spot. No investigation. No conversation. Just out. Walked past the line cooks I trained, the dishwasher I tipped out, the servers who always called me their calm in the storm. Not one of them said a word. I walked home numb. Piper was in the living room with her friends from her agency, all of them wearing designer heels and fake smiling like they were on set. When I told her what happened, she raised her eyebrows like I just ruined her dinner party. Oh my God, Zach, she said, half laughing. You really got fired? Jesus, what are you gonna do now? Sell knives door to door? One of her friends laughed. Another one winced. I mean, seriously, Piper kept going. This is why I said you should have gotten into something stable. Provider material, you are not. I stood there, still in my stained chef coat. The girls giggled like I was some tragic punchline. Later that night, I called my parents. I didn't expect them to cheer, but I didn't expect what I got either. Zachary, my father said, voice cold, you are a grown man. Maybe it's time you stopped embarrassing us. Elaine doesn't end up in handcuffs over olive oil. I wasn't in handcuffs. We're doctors, my mom said flatly. Our colleagues ask about you, and we have nothing to say. I hung up. I packed a bag. I didn't even take much, just a few shirts, my knives, and the watch Piper gave me when we got engaged. I left the ring on the counter. No note. No message. No goodbye. I walked out. No more Piper. No more family. No more second chances. And no more trusting anyone again. At first, I thought Piper was just trying to cope in her own way. Maybe the jokes were her way of avoiding the awkwardness. That's what I told myself. I stayed in a dingy studio off Roosevelt that smelled like bleach and bad decisions. No kitchen. Just a microwave and a sad little hot plate. Still, I cleaned myself up and started applying for jobs, catering gigs, pop-ups, anything to stay moving. That's when I started noticing the changes. Piper used to dress in sweats when she wasn't working. Now it was blazers, heels, hair done like she was heading to a red carpet. She said the marketing firm had landed a luxury hotel client, and they were all expected to represent the brand. I bought it. I wanted to believe it. She also started working late. Like, every night late. One night I called her around 10. She didn't pick up. Texted me an hour later with a crazy night, long story, love you. That should have been a red flag. But I ignored it. We had just gotten engaged 3 months ago. I kept thinking, she wouldn't, not her. We've been through too much. We made plans. Picked out a venue. Chose baby names, for God's sake. Then came the call. It was Tuesday morning. I was walking out of a job interview, some warehouse that needed someone to help with food delivery coordination. My phone buzzed. Hi, is this Zachary Lane? Yes. This is Laura from Human Resources at the Ashton Grand Hotel. We'd like to speak with you about an incident involving one of our employees and a recent report. I froze. Wait, what kind of report? We prefer to speak in person. Are you available this week? Is this about a cooking job? I applied for some things through a temp agency. There was a pause. No, this is not about a job application. I should have put it together right then. But I didn't. Some desperate part of me clung to hope that this was some misunderstanding, or maybe even a surprise audition. I told myself maybe Piper pulled some strings. Maybe she was trying to help me behind the scenes. I wanted it to be that. Needed it to be that. Because the alternative, that this was something darker, was a truth I wasn't ready to face. Not yet. I showed up to the Ashton Grand that Thursday wearing the cleanest button-down I had. Pressed it the night before, thinking maybe, just maybe, they'd see how serious I was. How ready I was to start over. The lobby smelled like citrus and fake money. Gold trim on everything, like the whole building was trying too hard to impress someone richer than it would ever be. A woman in a navy suit met me by the concierge desk. Mr. Lane? Right this way. She led me to a conference room on the second floor. There was a long mahogany table and a pitcher of lemon water nobody touched. Two men in suits sat at one end. One of them looked vaguely familiar. That's when the door opened again, and in walked Mitchell Reed. I felt my stomach turn. Mitchell was my best friend in culinary school until he wasn't. He used to copy my notes, borrow my knives, drink my whiskey. Then one day, he just started treating me like competition. I brushed it off back then. I thought we'd just taken different paths. Apparently, our paths had just collided again, this time, with him holding the match. "Zach," Mitchell said with that same smug grin he wore the day he won our school's final showcase by stealing my sea-bass recipe. "Glad you could make it." I didn't reply. I just sat down. The HR rep started reading from a folder like we were in court. Allegations of workplace misconduct. Inappropriate messages sent to hotel staff. Tampering with vendor deliveries. I blinked. I don't work here. The second man nodded. "Correct. But you've been flagged as a person of concern in connection to internal sabotage." "What are you talking about? I've never even stepped foot in your kitchen." Mitchell leaned forward. "We have security footage, Zach. You were seen on the service floor, interacting with staff. You don't work here. That's a breach." "I was dropping off Piper's lunch," I said slowly. "Once. Maybe twice." More pages turned. Screenshots. Email prints. Some with my name, my number. Messages I never sent. It hit me all at once. This wasn't just a hit job. It was a trap. "You set me up," I said, turning to Mitchell. "You and Piper." He didn't deny it. Just shrugged, like it was nothing personal. "You made it easy, man. Desperate guys always do." The two security guards at the door moved closer. "You're banned from all Ashton Grand properties," the HR rep said, "and we will be forwarding this to local authorities." As they walked me out, Mitchell clapped me on the back like we were old pals. "No hard feelings, chef." When I got home, the apartment was empty. Drawers open. Our joint account drained. Her clothes gone. And Piper? Blocked me on everything. No note. No explanation. Just gone. It had all been a setup. Every smile, every kiss, every late night. I wasn't just dumped. I was erased. I slept in my catering van the first night. It still smelled like rosemary and burnt sugar from a wedding I did 2 summers ago. I'd kept it clean out of habit, thinking one day I'd start my own business again. Funny, right? Now it was my home. No heat. Just a sleeping bag, an old gym bag for a pillow, and the soft hum of traffic outside reminding me I was still alive. Over the next week, I scrounged. Took showers at a 24-hour gym I hadn't paid for in months. Ate leftovers from the diner down the street after sweet-talking the cook. I'd stopped checking my phone. No one was calling. Until Nina did. "Where the hell have you been?" she said the moment I answered. Nina was a pastry chef I used to work with back at Ember. We weren't close, but we respected each other. She always brought me coffee without asking and called me out when I got cocky. "You okay?" she asked after a beat. Her voice softened. "No," I said honestly. "Not even a little." She didn't push. Just gave me an address and told me she had a couch that didn't argue and a fridge that didn't judge. That night, I finally slept without flinching. A few days into staying at Nina's place, I started hearing things. From old coworkers, food truck folks, mutual friends in the industry. The talk wasn't just about me anymore. It was about Piper and Mitchell. Turns out, their dream bakery was already in motion. A new spot in Lincoln Park. All white tile and pastel branding. Butter and flame. Gross name. The opening? Funded by a private investor. But not just any investor. My parents. I found out by accident. Overheard a former client of mine name-dropping them at a coffee tasting. "Oh, you didn't hear? Dr. Lane and his wife put up the capital. They're so proud. Proud. They wouldn't loan me $1,000 when I was evicted, but they had no problem bankrolling the people who ruined me. I confronted them. Showed up at their house like a ghost. My dad wouldn't meet my eyes. My mom said, Piper has a great business plan. We wanted to support something stable." "Stable," I whispered. "You picked her. Over me." "No," she said. "We picked success." That was the moment I stopped grieving. It wasn't just betrayal. It was war. I got 2 jobs. One at a mechanic's shop during the day, fixing busted radiators and worn-out brakes. The other was at a 24-hour diner, graveyard shift. Slung hash and coffee to drunk college kids and truckers passing through. I didn't talk much. Just worked, saved, and listened. Nina let me stay as long as I needed. Never pried. She gave me a quiet place to breathe and left sandwiches in the fridge with sticky notes that said things like, "Eat this or I'll kill you. Love, Nina." One night, during a cigarette break behind the diner, I overheard 2 line cooks talking about Piper's bakery. "Her husband's shady," one of them said. "He used to work with my cousin. Got canned for embezzling petty cash." That caught my attention. "Mitchell Reed?" I asked, playing dumb. "Yeah, that's the guy," the cook said. "Total snake. Changed jobs every 6 months. Always left a mess behind." I nodded and took mental notes. After my shift, I started digging. First, the obvious stuff: LinkedIn, old job listings, articles. A few breadcrumbs led me to one of Mitchell's past employers, a small Italian restaurant on the north side that had quietly closed 3 years back. I tracked down the old manager on Facebook. She was happy to talk. "Mitchell," she said. "He nearly sank us. Ran up supplier bills, lied to investors. Skipped town the minute it fell apart." Boom. Then I started looking into the bakery's funding. Public records, tax filings, business license applications. It was all under a new LLC, MF Ventures. Mitchell and Piper's initials. Cute. But the money trail? That told the real story. My parents had transferred funds from their retirement account. Large amounts. Reckless amounts. I found transaction logs, public statements, even a local real estate notice showing their condo had been listed as collateral. They'd bet everything on the two people who betrayed me. And now, I had proof. I started saving everything: screenshots, audio recordings, receipts. I used burner emails to contact old co-workers of Piper's, folks from the marketing firm she left suddenly. Turns out, she didn't leave. She was quietly let go for professional misconduct. No one would say more, but they said enough. By the end of the month, I had a folder full of documentation. Piper and Mitchell weren't just liars. They were walking liabilities. And I wasn't going to blow up their lives in a blaze of drama. I was going to dismantle them, piece by piece. I didn't want a spectacle. I wanted decay. Quiet, slow, irreversible. It started with a whisper. A burner account emailed 3 food bloggers I knew from my Ember days. "Have you looked into the background of the owners at Butter and Flame? Seems like a lot of investor money for 2 people with no bakery experience. Also, check Mitchell Reed's employment history. Some things don't add up." No attachments. No direct accusations. Just enough smoke to make people curious about the fire. Then came the online reviews. Again, nothing overt. Just thoughtful posts on Yelp and Google. Gorgeous place, but something felt off. Staff seemed uncomfortable. Rumors about unpaid suppliers. I left one myself under a fake name. Overheard owners arguing in the back about cash flow problems. Shame. Place had potential. Within a week, I saw the first ripple. A food critic posted a Twitter thread, hearing a lot of noise about Butter and Flame. Anyone have intel? The comments blew up. Some people defended them. Others didn't. A few anonymous accounts dropped phrases like embezzlement, shady finances, and scam artist power couple. Meanwhile, I leaked parts of Mitchell's employment history, old email chains, termination letters, to a local chef forum. No names, just hypothetical examples. But everyone knew. Word gets around fast in the food scene, especially in a city like Chicago. I even sent an anonymous tip to their landlord, including a copy of the financial report I'd dug up. Let him know their operating capital was thinner than advertised. You might want to double-check your payment guarantees. Within 2 days, Butter and Flame lost a big catering contract. Nina's friend worked there and texted me a screenshot. The client cited bad press and reputational risk. Piper tried to do damage control online. Posted curated Instagram reels of croissants in slow motion. Wrote captions about rising above negativity and starting with integrity. But the cracks were showing. The comments turned. "Is it true your boyfriend stole recipes from his last job? Why did you ghost your business partner from the marketing firm? Why did your staff quit last week?" I just watched. Didn't respond. Didn't gloat. Even when Piper texted my old number, "Can we talk?" I didn't reply. Even when my parents called Nina's house, asking if I was okay. I was more than okay. The bakery's grand opening party went ahead, but half the RSVPs bailed. Photos showed Mitchell smiling tight, Piper holding a champagne glass with a death grip. You could see the panic in her eyes if you looked close enough. Refund demands started rolling in. Custom orders canceled. Local suppliers posted cryptic messages about clients who don't pay on time. And through it all, I didn't say a word. They'd burned my life down. Now I was watching them choke on the smoke. It didn't take long for the collapse. A month after the opening, Butter and Flame was bleeding money. Bad reviews, backed up orders, and whispers of fraud had poisoned everything they tried to build. Their dream had rotted from the inside out, and I had made sure of it. Then came the lawsuits. A local vendor sued them for breach of contract. Another accused Mitchell of falsifying payment records. Some of the staff filed a claim for unpaid wages. Piper tried to spin it all as growing pains, but no one was buying it anymore. The final nail? Mitchell disappeared. I heard about it from Nina, who ran into one of the former bakery employees. One day, he just didn't show up. Took the rest of their shared account balance and bolted. No note. No warning. Just gone. Piper was left holding the bag. Financially. Legally. Emotionally. A ghost town of a business and a stack of legal threats she couldn't afford to fight. That's when I made my move. My parents' condo, the sleek downtown one they used to brag about, went into foreclosure. I'd been watching the listing like a hawk, waiting for the price to dip. When it did, I didn't even flinch. Bought it through a shell company I set up under a generic LLC name. Clean. Untraceable. They had no idea it was me. When the sale went through, I walked into that empty space with a folding chair and a thermos of coffee. Sat there for a while, just letting the silence soak in. This was the place they used to tell me I'd never be good enough to inherit. Now it was mine. I didn't keep it the way it was. I gutted the place, ripped up the sleek tile, took down their framed medical degrees still hanging in the hallway, replaced the whole thing with warm wood, chalkboard menus, mismatched mugs, and cafe tables you actually wanted to sit at. I called it the Phoenix. Soft opening, no fuss. A cozy cafe with killer espresso, croissants from Nina, and exactly zero pretense. Just regulars and tired artists and couples on Sunday mornings. No one knew my backstory. No one cared. And that's how I liked it. One day, my parents left a voicemail asking if I was okay. I didn't reply. A month later, they figured out who bought the condo. I know because my dad emailed me a single line. Is this your idea of revenge? No. It was rebirth. And this time, I did it without them. It happened on a Tuesday. Quiet afternoon. Rain on the sidewalk. Soft jazz playing through the cafe speakers. Claire sat by the window, editing one of her travel vlogs, her headphones half on, sipping an espresso I'd made just for her. She liked it a little burnt. Said it reminded her of gas station coffee on road trips. I was wiping down the counter when the door chimed. I didn't look up right away. Just another customer. But then I heard the voice. Hi, I'll take a small coffee, cream, no sugar. I looked up. It was Piper. Hair pulled back, faded fast food visor still on her head. Her name tag said shift lead. She looked smaller than I remembered. Tired. Not sick or broken, just plain. She saw me. Froze. I didn't say anything. Just grabbed a cup and poured the coffee like I would for anyone else. No emotion. No extra attention. Just service. Zach, she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't know this place was yours. I handed her the coffee. $3.50. She blinked. Pulled a crumpled bill from her apron pocket. I gave her change and turned away. She didn't move. Can we talk? I glanced over at Claire. She'd taken off her headphones and was watching us, curious but not worried. I'm with someone, I said. Piper's eyes followed my gaze. Claire smiled politely and went back to editing. Piper looked back at me. Her face cracked just a little. I didn't know how to fix any of it. You don't need to, I said. My voice was even. Calm. You don't hate me? I shrugged. I don't think about you. That landed harder than anything else could have. She nodded slowly, took her coffee, and walked to the door. Halfway out, she turned back, trying for something. A memory. A smile. Anything. I gave her nothing. And she left. Claire looked up again as I walked over. Old friend? She asked. Old life, I said. She reached out and took my hand. And for the first time in a long, long time, I didn't feel like I'd lost anything. I felt free.